so dangerous with how Hundor showed up on it also last week. G2 Esports, that pick for them is going to be huge, and they can flex it easily. The Lyra pick for Dynasty is something that Mowgli plays a lot. He's played in the past so much of it, especially when it comes to sieging composition they used to run. So it's a pick that is more comfortable for Mowgli.
Alpha will be locked in here for Riku Meza, so strong jungler locked on in for Dynasty. Honestly, very strong composition so far, but we'll see how they can develop that one and what they'll grab for the lane to finish that one out. G2 Esports, they've got the Black Feather. We saw Hundor on that last week. We've also seen Dark Potato play that in the past, so very comfortable flex and just a very strong pick in general. But now they have to decide what they want to run in a composition alongside that. There's things like the Catherine Batiste available. There's a few different options, and it can fit into so many playstyles.
So what I expect here is they're either going to go for a CP Fortress and play Blackfeather in lane, play a composition they played last week, or they're going to put the Blackfeather into jungle just so that they have a somewhat even of a matchup, the Blackfeather versus the Alpha, so that, as we talked about, Dark Potato is not weaker in the early game, and then pick up the Kestrel in lane. But it is going to be the Catherine Batiste. Nice call, Munchables.
Well, they are going to grab that one. This is something that we've seen out of G2 like last season. This was a real favorite composition. To be honest, it was a favorite composition for just about everyone.
Composition last season, but it's still a very strong combo. You have a lot of lockdown, especially against the Alpha. We've talked about Batiste into Alpha and being able to use your Ordained, stopping her in her tracks when she tries to use Prime Directive or Court or the Core Overloads, and then you can use Fearsome Shade once she uses her ultimate to just push her away and prevent her from being able to get that massive impact that the Termination Protocol can provide. So I like the pickup there. Dynasty going to go for a Rona with the Batiste and Catherine already selected. This is a pick that could be fairly risky, but it is still into the Black Feather, which is why they wanted it to be that counter. It also puts PT Lamb onto a melee hero.
Yep.
This is what I was talking about, was his core heroes when he was a dominant laner in Europe. It was all these melee heroes, these brawlers that he was playing that looked so good.
Yeah, and we have now PT Lamb against Hundor in a melee matchup in the lane in Black Feather versus Rona as well. This is a hype matchup for the lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matchup that can definitely go in the favor of Rona, but at the same time, going up against all the CC is going to be on G2. How well they use their CC to shut down the Rona every time she uses her Red Mist. The Catherine, Merciless Pursuit to lock her down, and then the Batiste, Fearsome Shades, and the Ordains. It's all in G2. If they execute well, they can definitely shut down the Rona.
All right, well, it's time to jump on into this one. It's time to kick off our second quarterfinal and see if G2 can match SK and move on to the semi-finals themselves. Make sure to get involved in the conversation and let us know who you are supporting. Can Dynasty have a last-minute surge and avoid the challenge battles? Or is it going to be G2 moving on into our semi-finals? Get in touch with us using that hashtag Vainglory8 and let us know who you are supporting. You can let us know who you're supporting in the client as well. Make sure that you're tweeting out pictures of your badges in-game on those loading screens. But this is going to be an incredibly exciting series coming through in our quarterfinals. Cannot wait to kick this one off and find out who is going to be moving to our semifinals against SK Gaming. It's about time that we passed it over to our casters and get on into this one. Or the game is just going to be loading for us, but make sure to tweet out the game. Make sure to let everyone know that you're watching. It's Jaws and Sean Ostino to take this one away.
Thank you very much, guys. Once again, G2 versus Dynasty. Sean Ostino, we've seen upsets before, and G2 need to make it for their hope. And, well, for their fans as well, for the hope to make it to Worlds in Singapore. But Dynasty need to avoid relegations. There's so much on the line with this match.
Yeah, there is so much on the line, Jaws. G2, they're trying to make it to the finals here. If they're able to make it to the finals, it's going to be huge, because then they have the potential to overtake SK and really make it here. We've seen when SK and G2 have gone against each other, it could go either way. And the way that G2 has been closing the points, getting closer and closer to SK, it's something to behold and to be amazed by. I feel like G2 here, they have a lot of really good win conditions going for them. We just need to have Black Feather scale to late game. We got to have him dive too. He's going to be able to execute. We've talked so much about how Black Feather is just so strong this patch, and if he's able to execute low health targets, then it's going to be really easy for him. Recompensa goes in.
Oh, nice prime directed by Rikomeza, hitting all three members of G2, although Hundor's going extremely low, has to pop the flask, still cutting back. Dark Potatoes with those bad mojos are going to slow up Dynasty for the time being. They heavily lose that trade, and they will forfeit that Elder Treant as well.
Yeah, really smartly done by Dynasty, just coming in and forcing G2 out of the jungle to rotate up, and doing so, they were able to take that extra experience and gold that they need from that Elder Treant, and that puts them a couple hundred gold up. You know, it's still pretty close with the lane matchup here. They're really evening it up very, very quickly. But Baptiste and Catherine, this is a really huge combo that in previous patches has been very, very strong. A lot of lockdown potential here. And of course, if Keanu Nukoa is able to get a lot of merciless pursuits down, stun up targets, then we're going to be able to see really good, beefy looking Catherine here late game.
And not only will Catherine be pretty beefy, but Dark Potatoes build will be pretty beefy as well when you think about it. There's two very good Echo users on the side of G2. That be the Catherine and that be also the Baptiste. Now, if they do manage to get to that situation, or if Dynasty have managed to find themselves in that situation where G2 have two Echoes, double Blast Tremor, double Fearsome Shade, are they ever going to be able to block everything? It doesn't seem so, and Hundor's going to have an easy time, you must imagine, just executing these targets.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of a protect the Hundor composition. Oh, Dark Potatoes getting aggressed on.
Yeah, he is. Bad Mojo and the Ordain will be there. And in fact, there will be Keanu Nukoa just to rotate down also. Nice stun onto Rikomeza. There is the Ordained also to lock him in place. Nice prime directive once more to hit two members. But G2, they have the safety of their turret. Almost not for long there. Mowgli almost found the last basic attack. Keanu Nukoa going extremely low. Rikomeza once first blood couldn't quite find it. The Treant didn't lock them up either. And Hundor with the late rotation will once again forfeit some of their jungle.
Once again, we're seeing Dynasty just pressure the jungle really well. Going to your point about the double echoes, I wouldn't necessarily see Dark Potato pick up an echo because he is a jungle carry. It would reduce his damage output for his CP power. But, you know, it still could be the case. If he does pick that up, yeah, that would be a lot of crowd control that Dynasty is going to have to block out. And that means that they would just have to pick up reflex blocks and a Crucible across the board. However, yeah, we do see if we do have Keanu Nukoa pick up an Echo late game, then we're just going to have to watch out for that double Blast Tremor, even double Merciless Pursuits that could just continue to lock down targets on the side of Dynasty. And with them being primarily a dive comp here, Kumeza and PT Lam want to dive in. They're melee heroes. They want to be able to get in there and do some serious damage. If they're not able to do that because they're being locked down by Chain CC coming out of the side of G2, it's going to be a really difficult time for them to find a win condition.
Well, their economy's hurting a little bit at the moment, G2's that is. Dynasty are moving towards this first tier 1 turret. Nice stun onto Rikomeza, and that'll be an out of the fray used by PT Lam. Nice use of the A there, Rikomeza, just to get the smallest amount of distance possible and a little bit of damage. Core charge does down onto Dark Potato. There's the Ordain as well. Rikomeza pops into the passive. He's gonna go for that reset, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Hundor finds first blood. The execution potential on Rikomeza when he's down like that was too much.
Oh, it's so good, and Hundor is so healthy still. And we have Dark Potato now just going into the jungle, and now they're stealing, now they're capitalizing on that death that they actually forced coming out of the other side, out of Dynasty Gaming. Really well done. They just pushed that wave up. We do see a Poison Shiv already picked up by Hundor. That's a pretty good power spike for him, the first tier 3 item that we've seen other than the Fountain by Keanu Nukoa. And Dark Potato working towards the Shatter Glass, I would imagine, so that he can get some more burst damage coming out of those bad mojos. And we also see Fountain picked up by Mowgli, so a lot of sustain from the side of Dynasty. The question is, will they be able to further sustain? We do see a Serpent's Mask also picked up by PT Lam, and that's going to allow him for some a little bit of weapon power damage, and lifesteal. I would imagine next. Oh, well, they're
Dynasty
going in.
for an engage though. There's the bright bulwark to just stop G2 from instantly escaping. Only a little bit damage landed onto the Catherine, and a little bit onto Hundor as well. Nice flank potential, but Dark Potato wasn't there either. He was actually picking up a Shatterglass, so they don't actually end up securing anything whatsoever. And now it will just be the lane priority and the lane shove here from G2 just to make sure they don't get turret dove.
I would imagine PT Lamb's next item would be Breaking Point. A little poke there coming out of Hundor. But yeah, things are looking pretty good for G2 now. They're starting to swing the other way, and PT Lamb's getting aggressed on.
Yeah, that's an ordained, but an out of the fray will end up landing, or at least landing away from the fight. G2 now putting pressure on Dynasty on their turrets. And what's quite exciting about this game specifically, Sean Ostino, is the fact that a lot of these top teams are able to take games off each other. These last couple of weeks have been such a mix-up, with Esports taking SK, for example, to a 2-0. And Dynasty, I do believe they have what is in them to actually take G2 as well to a game number 3. I mean, they have been lackluster. You could say that Crystal, that gold century, that gold miner even will go over to G2 in the end, but the turret will get destroyed meanwhile. Mowgli will end up just retreating, and that's going to be a nice little chunk of change for both teams. But like I was saying, that G2, they were a little bit lackluster at the start of the season with SK really just launching themselves ahead of the competition. But Dynasty do have a real shot here, and they kind of need to as well to avoid those challenge battles.
They definitely do have a real shot. If they could just keep up the aggression. They had a little bit of that aggression early game, stealing away that Treant, but we do see an Aftershock actually picked up by Recomeza, and that's a pretty good power spike for this alpha. We're going to be able to see a lot, quite a bit of damage, bonus damage procced by that item. We're going to see a little bit of lifesteal, and we know that alpha has essentially 2 health bars and could go in and just infinite reboot if she is caught out a little bit. We do see a Breaking Point actually picked up by Hundor, and that's his second weapon power item, Power Spike, and they could be looking for a fight now. Yeah,
that's exactly what they are doing. They're doing a pin Recomeza in, but Dark Potato going extremely low, takes a Prime Directive, but that was completely silenced as well. Hunter in a lot of trouble, is on the back line, but that poke potential coming through is massive. Spin to win on PT Lamb, is trying to cut up Hundor, but they already managed to take out the Alpha. Recomeza is going to fall, didn't even pop that Termination Protocol, just did not have time. Dark Potato chasing Mowgli around. G2 find one, but what else can they find off the back of this?
Oh man, this turret is going down so low, and you can see the bad mojos already doing so much work, and they're not finished.
And they're not. That is another spin to win from PT Lamb. That red mist is going to dissuade G2 for the time being. They only managed to take that turret down to about half HP, with Recomeza recently spawning as well. So it's G2 now just doing cleanup, just taking some of the fronts here of Dynasty's jungle.
G2 really prioritizing taking out this alpha. They know she can go in and do so much work, but so can PT Lamb on this Rona. However, we did see a fearsome shade in that last team fight in the jungle actually fear Recomeza into the wall, and because he was feared into the wall, he wasn't able to do much. If you don't have if you have 0 damage output coming out of this alpha, then the alpha is going to be a mute point in these team fights. And additionally, when you burst her down, we saw Hundor continue to hit her while she was in her infinite reboot. Doing that, taking her down before she's able to get back and do more damage, Alpha is really not worth having around in these team fights. They've got to have Recomeza stay alive, and they're still going in.
They are. That turret is going to fall. Hundor just committing himself fully to that one. Recomeza is going to follow that with a Prime Directive on the 3 members. Hundor taking the brunt of that damage. There's the red mist going to separate the team, but the fearsome shade knocks them all back. Termination Protocol opened up, and Hundor dashes out the way with a Rhodes offensive. Now Dark Potato is in the 1v1 between Recomeza's lifeless body, but he ends up getting up anyway. A 1-for-1 trade for the time being, but G2, they end up capitalizing with 2 kills, and now it's only Mowgli. No energy at all, and Keanu Nakoa and Dark Potato are just going to be able to run and gun him down. That will be G2 eventually finding the ace if Dark Potato can land one more bad mojo. Not quite enough, as he ends up popping the flask in the end, so no ace for them just yet.
Oh, it got away, but it feels pretty good if you are G2 right now. And their target prioritization is so smart, Jaws. They're able to burst down Recomeza, and once the infinite reboot is, going into sequence, they have 4 seconds to go focus another target. Focusing PT Lamb in that 4 seconds is what they needed to do in that team fight, taking them out and leaving only Mowgli left. really smartly done. If we can just see G2 continue to have team fights like that, they're probably going to be pushing this game to a W. And looks like they're going in.
Well, they're going in yet again. Another fearsome shade is available to Dark Potato. There it goes. Ripples through Rika Meza, but Hundor is just isolated Mowgli. He ends up going down, and now it's a 2v3. That massive immortal wound just prevented so much of PT Lamb's healing, and now Rika Meza activating the termination protocol, but it's too little too late for Dynasty Gaming. They get aced eventually, and that'll be G2 taking the gold miner.
Oh, Dark Potato, he's doing so good right now. Those bad mojos, they're not necessarily executing because we have Hundor doing a lot of the work here. He's got 5 and 1 right now. But Dark Potato throwing out these bad mojos. We're seeing 588 damage on those suckers. It's just amazing. And now they're going to be able to take the gold mine for themselves. And the ace wave is going to be cleaned up by PT Lamb. But 7 and 1 right now at 11 minutes 40 seconds in. Things are looking really good with a 6,000 or 4,000 gold lead rather for G2. Very, very strong.
There's the replay there, and you can see, look at Riku Meza just trying all his might to kill Keanu Nakoa. But like you said, Dark Potato, his damage is really starting to rack up, and it's something Riku Meza is going to have to start fearing. Maybe a little bit of defensive itemization is in the need for Dynasty right now.
Yeah, things are really, really looking good for G2. We do have a breaking point actually come out for PT Lamb, so that's one of those item power spikes for Rona, where she's gonna be able to just ramp up a lot of weapon power damage in the middle of these team fights. With the red mist now online for her, she's actually invested 2 points into that. It's going to be doing some serious damage and getting some really good fortified health. So that's something that G2 is just going to have to watch out for. And looks like they're going a little bit sneaky right here, but they get flared out.
Yep, sneaky, although PT Lamb wants to jump straight into the fray. Rika Meza finds the 2-man with the Prime Directive, but the Fearsome Shade scares him away yet again. A double blast tremor will ripple through Dynasty Gaming, all completely silenced up, but Rika Meza still wants to fight. Hundor found himself on the back line, and PT Lamb ends up just chewing him up. Dark Potato trying all he might to try and kill Rika Meza when he's in that infinite reboot, but the damage wasn't quite enough. That passageway will just send Keanu Nakoa back to where he came from, and Dynasty Gaming, he'll find the Prime Directive over the wall, and Riku Meza, not quite done, is going to be able to find the core charge. Another Prime Directive will finish him off, and that'll be a reverse ace for Dynasty Gaming and a gold miner for them as well.
Oh, that is the thing. When you let a Rona and an Alpha survive during these team fights, they can just output so much damage. And you saw there that T-Lam had his health bar down so low. This gold miner's going over to them.
Collected.
Decent gold payout for Dynasty Gaming, but PT Lamb was on a sliver of health, still sustained, and that's the name of the game here in 2.9, sustain. And we have this Lyra who's able to output the heal with those Imperial Sigils. We have the infinite reboot able to come out of Rika Meza. We have PT Lamb able to sustain with fortified health through those red mists. It's just such an amazing thing to see Rona in the middle of these team fights spin to win, like you've been saying, Jaws, and just be able to continue to survive and output damage. We still see a gold lead, about 4,000, 3,500 gold lead for G2 right now. They lost that last team fight, and it got a little bit messy, but they could still clean it up and continue to push. 39 Captain of the Guard stacks for Keanu Nakoa. He is looking really tanky on this Catherine.
Exactly what it needs to be. Just survive the fight, but he needs to be able to assist his team as well. That Echo is becoming in mighty clutch as well for him. You can see the layering G2 have, and it shows their prowess as a team and just how and why they are so dominant in EU. They're using that Blast Tremor to engage the fight, and then as soon as that wears off, Fearsome Shade straight into another Blast Tremor. They want to go for an engage. That'll be Riku Meza actually taking a core charge to Keanu Nakoa for that. There's the Blast Tremor to start off the entire engagement. A Red Mist into the Fearsome Shade, into another Blast Tremor, and that'll be PT Lamb with nothing left to do, ends up going down. A termination protocol could not be found either from Riku Meza, and the execution damage from Hundor will finish him off. A nice Merciless Pursuit stun straight on to Mowgli, and that'll take him out as well. That'll be G2 finding yet another ace, and they're going to be able to break open the base at 15 minutes.
That time they had it right, Jaws. Taking out PT Lamb focusing next on Rekameza and getting that beautiful merciless pursuit right at the end, right when Mowgli was about to get under turret. Oh man, it's a nicely done ace, and they're going to be able to capitalize on this. Take the Kraken for their troubles, and with the Kraken being on the leash, it's going to be very, very difficult for Dynasty Gaming to be able to take a win away from this. There's only 2 crystal turrets remaining in the base, and we've got 10-4 and 5,000, nearly 6,000 gold lead for G2. Things are looking really good for them. We have 4 weapon power items on Hundor as well. He's just practically he doesn't have any boots. He's just going in there and just doing tons of damage as this Black Feather.
You don't need boots when they're right up in your face. Exactly what PT Lamb wants to do. Another fearsome shade will just instantly kill him. There's nothing you can do against that. Dynasty, where are they dropping to here? They're going to be sent once again to the grave. Mowgli's going to fall. G2 with the ace. I've got a feeling, Sean Ostino, once again, we're going to have a win on a first Kraken push. 16 minutes on the clock. The death timers aren't looking too pretty. G2 looking for the win.
Yeah, they're gonna, if they're split the damage between these 2 turrets, or you know what, death timers are high enough, it doesn't matter, they're gonna be able to take the win here. Really well done with the fearsome shades coming out of Dark Potato. He's just able to fear away Rona every time, and Rona wants to be in the middle of the fight. Oh my goodness, G2 looking so strong, tons of momentum going into game 2 here. A lot of credit to Dark Potato for those fearsome shades, getting 9 assists and so much damage output too out of the bad mojos as well. That facilitated and allowed Hundor to just execute enemies down, take out the members of Dynasty, and well done by G2.
G2, like SK, stepping ever closer to that goal of winning a spot Worlds over in Singapore. G2 with a match point win here against Dynasty. What are Dynasty going to do to bounce back from that one? We don't know. We'll have to wait for the